Sure now.
We will now call the Caribou City Council meeting August 28th to order. And we have two councilors missing tonight, which I have not heard from, so.
Absent.
Without leave.
And I'll ask everybody to stand and we'll do the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public input tonight. Do we have any public input? Okay. Any conflicts of interest on the agenda items tonight from any of the board? Consent agenda, we don't have bid openings, appointments. Appointment to the Tri-Community Landfill Board. We still need one more representative. I was asked to serve by council at the last meeting and agreed that I would. But Caribou has two members on the board, so we need another member.
I make a motion to put Ken Murchison on there. I think after listening to what you had to say the other night about that, it'll probably be the smart thing to do with his longevity.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. Dennis, you can let Ken know if he doesn't hear. No public hearings tonight. Discussion regarding the possible action regarding Resolution 2017-2, authorizing an order of discontinuance for Park Street between Bennett Drive and Glen Street. Manager Marker, do you want to run us through this?
Mayor and council, the city and RSU 39 entered into an agreement for the swapping of properties pertaining to the construction of the new elementary school, and it's anticipated that Park Street, as we know it, will become a part of the parking lot and grounds for the new elementary school. And in order to swap this right-of-way over to the school district, we need to have a discontinuance. There's a process we have to go through in order to actually discontinue the use of the road. Tonight is just the first step, requesting that the council authorize the staff to file an order of discontinuance with the clerk, and then we will schedule a public hearing and allow the public an opportunity to come in and express any concerns or feelings about the discontinuance. And then after the public hearing, the council can formalize that that request for the discontinuance if you so desire. In your packet is a map that shows the area of Park Street that would be discontinued, and the order of discontinuance which we would file if passed by a resolution.
Just so everyone understands, there is not a plan to close it next week.
Right.
It will be continued to be operated. It'll be discontinued but be operated until the construction phase starts that it's required.
Yes, that's correct.
So we will plow it all winter.
I guess it depends on the timing of the discontinuance and the property conveyance.
I got a little bit more to say about that.
Okay, Councilor McDonough.
Okay, I'll skip to that. If and after when the discontinuance is final and there's no public easement left in there, then the property is divided between the abutters, and the abutters are going to be the school department, because they're gonna own both sides of the street, correct?
Eventually.
Eventually. So if, for instance, if we do all the transfer of the assets in the process or the same process, they'll own it. Okay.
Yes.
Then that may lead to further discussion as far as maintenance of. Okay. And we are gonna discontinue the public easement through there also?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, that's a good question, just to clarify, even though we would discontinue the public easement, if there are utilities in the road,
Still there.
the
That stays
utilities
there.
still remain intact with their right-of-way.
Right. And that should be, if there are, I don't think there were any utility easements there when we discussed it. I can't remember. But that would have to be registered on the deed too, so that Holton's aware of it too. So, because we got some properties probably out there that are missing that. Patton Street was one, that's been fixed. I'm done.
Any other comments? We need a motion to,
Move to accept the resolution 2017-2 authorizing an order for discontinuance of Park Street between Bennett Drive and Glen Street.
Second.
all those in favor? Passed. So we wanted to have a little discussion here on the 2018 budget preparation process, and Dennis, I know you've done some work, so you want to...
Just to give the council a heads up, I've already asked the department heads to review their expenses for next year and begin putting that together. In fact, we had another meeting this morning at Hilltop School, anticipating that coming into our ownership at some point and needing to look at those possible expenses until that can get transferred over to the potential user there. I've asked them to get their numbers back to me by September 1st so I can start going through those numbers and having one-on-ones with the department heads, making sure I understand what their requests are and what their capital expense requests are. But what I'd like to do is have a budget retreat with you and the department heads. And after I've had a chance to go through and talk with them about it, give them a chance to present in front of you to outline what their anticipations are for capital needs, the staffing, equipment, so that you have a very clear picture of why they are requesting what they are and what those numbers are. But at the same time, it gives you an opportunity to bounce questions off them and ask for additional insights or what have you. And what I would propose is that we hold that meeting either September 23rd or the first week of October. I don't know if it's these kinds of meetings where we have 10 department heads, they can be fairly lengthy. I would suspect it could be 5 to 6 hours in length, and would propose maybe we make an early morning start, provide a kind of a breakfast meal for you and department heads, and anticipating a lunch as well. We can either do that here or host that at another site, maybe at your discretion what you'd like to do there, but really keep it kind of a laid back, more of a work session type of environment. And like I said, just give you an opportunity to really get into what their plans are, goals are for the next year, and how the budget ties into that.
Councilor Martin?
Isn't that logged into the charter though, when we're supposed to do those?
It's locked into the charter when the budget time period is, but this is not, he's not talking about doing the budget. He's talking about an information session, which is kind of like a pre-budget thing, which will talk about capital equipment and that they will, looking forward to needing. I probably isn't going to have numbers on all of those things at that time. I don't know, but
You're right. By charter, there's supposed to be a formal public meeting where the department heads come in and they present to you
yes.
And the public.
the final numbers that they want. This is kind of a let's workshop this. Let's talk about what's coming down, what your priorities are, so that when those final numbers actually get presented to you and the public in that setting, everybody understands what it is, and we've tried to meet your goals and intent in putting that together.
The one part of the department managers coming in and talking about the numbers and what they need. The one difference we have from Presque Isle in the budget, and they're on Trio too, so I'm sure it can be done here. They show what the department managers request. They show what the city manager recommends, and then there's a place for councils. Here, it's basically been, I might be wrong, but I think the city manager has basically done the budget, input from the department managers, but he's done it and they've presented their section. Won us all over. I think it's, I mean, I almost think it's worthwhile to see what they are projecting initially themselves. And then what you feel it should be, and that's where council should be making its decision, so. I don't know how big a job it is to change it, as I say, Presque Isle uses Trio the same as we do, so it,
It's a functioning trio,
yeah,
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 so it can be done.
yeah. I don't know, it's just a thought, I just think maybe that's
I
the way
think
we
that
should.
that would be a much better product for us,
Yeah,
and then there may not be so much discussion.
It also serves the purpose of letting the department heads interact directly with you. Oftentimes, there's a perception that while you are supportive and they appreciated the applause that you gave them last time, there's still the concern that maybe you don't understand everything that they're dealing with, and this gives them an opportunity to come in and try to explain their numbers a little bit.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't have a problem with doing it, I don't know how everybody else feels.
I think it's a good idea.
As long as we're not operating outside the confines of the charter in respect to the budget process.
Well,
Yeah.
We still have to meet, October 1st, I have a date, November 15th, we have a date, December, yeah,
yeah,
all of those would still have to be met.
Counselor Martin?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
Is there a preferred date for you?
You got September the 23rd?
That's a Saturday.
Yeah.
October 7th or 14th are also Saturdays.
When's your first report to us by charter?
November 15th.
I'll be working hardest. So I'll be working the 23rd. And maybe the 7th. Should be done after that. But I'm just one.
I mean, as far as I know, I'm pretty open on any of them, so.
Two.
I'm flexible.
Just let us know.
So it would look like October the 14th then. Is that the date you gave? Yeah.
One of them, huh?
No,
Is that better for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just plan October 14th and I'll make sure we've got,
A time and a place.
October 14th? Okay.
no,
Yeah, the sandbox at Tea Park.
yeah. Last chance to use it, maybe.
That one.
Motoring might work.
that was the only point of discussion I had on that. I mean, I plan to, I'll put the agenda together and I anticipate by October 14th, that's gonna give me a few more weeks to also put together some
Yeah.
recommendations that I would have with regards to the budget.
Yeah, all right. We don't have any other business down here. Any business from council?
What, where are we at with Hilltop on that process?
By the agreement that we have that laid out the keystone or mile markers along the path,
Yeah.
they were supposed to record that deed and turn it over to the city a week and a half ago. They haven't done that yet, which honestly I'm okay with. We-
So am I.
we went this morning, met with Chief Gahagan, Chief Susi, our finance Wanda Raymond, and Dave Willett. We walked through the building with Wayne and the administrators, talking about all the issues that are involved with it. They sent us what their operating costs have been with that school over the past 3 years. And at this point, I think, well, I know the intent was that as soon as it came to the city, we'd be able to turn it around and give it to the assisted living facility that wants to operate. But I met with them a week and a half ago, and they're still trying to figure out what they're going to do with the building and if it makes sense for them to actually do that project. So if they're not really ready to pull the trigger on it, it's in the city's best interest to not take ownership of the building and allow the school district to continue to maintain it and operate it. And
I
so,
totally agree with that.
Yeah,
But they were given, in the deal, they were given, what, 60 days, 90 days to make up their minds, or they could back out, or,
well, that comes down to the preparation of a TIF for that property. You know, working through the numbers and seeing if we can create a tax increment finance area for Hilltop School. And I still need to have numbers back from the investors, developers to know if what's actually going to be involved with the TIF, and I haven't received that.
I got follow-up to his question. At the time that, when this whole process started, there was a final date when everything should have been done. And I don't even know if we talked TIF at that time. So are we within that criterion, or are we outside of that criterion now because they haven't taken possession of it? I think we're supposed to take possession sooner than later, right? If I recall the discussion.
if I recall.
there was some
once-
urgency for them to have
Right.
possession.
Yeah,
Was,
once
yeah.
we owned it, they had X number of days to take it or back up. And I don't remember exactly, I thought that was 60 days, but I'm not sure.
I think so too.
I'll find you a number.
But does that mean that St. Cloud School might not come down? Because that was part of the deal?
As I understand it, Sincock would come down regardless.
Yeah, I've had a conversation with the superintendent and I was told that they will take it down, the Board of Education will take it down, or the state will take it down, so if this doesn't go,
Without any additional cost to the taxpayers of Caribou?
yes,
Do we have that in writing?
Well, no, if the school does it, we're gonna end up paying.
Anyway,
That's why I'm asking that question right now, okay? That's what I wanna know.
One of the issues that we identified with Hilltop is there's quite a bit of asbestos abatement that will need to be done up there
Yes.
with the piping and the flooring. And the indication is that they have a bid for that work that was somewhere in the order of $250,000, which they have budgeted for, but they're also asking the city if we can help as far as maybe putting out some brownfield grant money applications to support them and find a way to
They
reduce
can
that.
put in for brownfield grants, just like we can.
Right.
and we can show support for them.
Sure. So at this point, it's still in their hands.
Well, the gym's still full, right?
The gym is still full. There's some equipment still in the classrooms and the hallways. I guess they're going to have a big auction or garage sale, so to speak, yard sale, and try to liquidate a bunch of the desks and chairs and old TVs and overhead projectors and
obsolete stuff.
hand manual advancing film strip projectors that they've got. Just a lot of old equipment.
I'm gonna call for that.
I used one in 1973.
Here's a chance to get one now.
I don't know,
Memories.
it's okay.
Yeah,
One
you still
case.
might have
Christina
some
would like
Minnie and
it.
Mickey Mouse stuff you could show on it.
No, no.
So do you have any arithmetic problems up that you could show on it to the kids and learn them how to do 1 + 1? There you go.
Anybody else have any other business that we should be discussing? No? Manager Marker, you haven't got anything else?
Not tonight.
All right,
18 minutes. Let's go.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor? We're adjourned.
Are we paid by the hour?